Welcome back another edition of Down and Back of CornDoug. This week, another fantastic show. Local Bags, Mr. Chris Meeks will be on the show talking. It's got some news about Local Bags that you will only hear first. Not going to listen to the other guys. Asps, they can break all the stuff they want. They don't know this news. Okay, you probably heard the Friday show with the Doghouse guys. Brendan doesn't know this news. So, talking about that a bit later when he's on the show, and big news. So, other big news, back at it last weekend. KW Cornhole back into it. First tournament in seems like forever. The St. Clements Cornhole Cup played out in the little village of St. Clements, and great turnout. A lot of great players. Probably one of the best fields we've had in Canada for a cornhole tournament. A lot of the top players, but so we went doubles, singles, and then a pretty intense blind draw at the end. So the doubles to start off, first time in like forever. Picture taken in the final. Pam Clark, she carried me the whole way. We finished second. We almost did the double dip, but Rob Prentice and James Miller took us in the intermediate final. Congratulations to them. Comparative doubles was former guest of the show, DJ Rose, his partner, Aaron Hackney. They beat Jerry Halfpenny and Tracy DeCoste in the competitive doubles final. Doubles final, Justin Clark, Brandon Brown, they defeated Dean Lang and Sean Botello. Yeah, then on to singles. So then singles play the intermediate singles. Scott Gorey took first place out there out of Wallaceburg. Scott, former guest of the show. Former guest of the show. Second place went to Peyton Clark. If you would have seen Peyton Clark playing, down and back shirt on, I think that's what kept him going. He was in the king seat. Unfortunately, Scott double dipped him in that there. But really great for Peyton. Only been playing about 5 weeks. He's scheduled to come on the show. He was a 10,000 view winner. He won that, so he's scheduled to come on as soon as our schedules can kind of intermingle. We'll get him on. So then competitive singles, Aaron Hackney took out his partner DJ Rose in that singles final, and then the advanced singles. I see a pattern developing here. Another two more guys that made it to the final together. Brandon Brown coming into the king seat. Dean Lang had to double dip him. And then just like up in the Simcoe County Cornhole Championships, Dean Lang was able to get that double dip and beat Brandon Brown in a couple really, really tight games that really looked like they could have went either way. But Dean came up with the win on that to get that singles win. Then we did the down and back JC Cornhole airmail, little tube. We had an airmail tube for the first time. It wasn't a box. It was just a tube that they had to go in. And wind was incredible. All like battling this 25 to 50 kilometer an hour winds all day. I'm out in St. Clements all the time. I've never, ever seen wind at the Ball Diamonds in St. Clements like we had there. But and I'm having a little bit of a tie because of the wind. They weren't going in. So I had a bit of a tie. Jerry Halfpenny, DJ Rose taking that. They played then because you got a plaque to win. They played in a single, just kind of down to see who would win that. Jerry won the plaque. They split the money, but great on them. Then we got to the blind draw at the end of the night. Now we went till the lights were about to go out right before just after this game ended. It was intense. Matt Plyle, Tracy DeCoste against Phil the Thrill Tavares, former guest of the show, Jamie Cowan, sponsor of the show. It went. Tracy and Matt won the first game, and the chirps were flying. It got really intense. You could almost cut that intensity with a knife. Come down to almost a final bag, but Phil and Jamie took out the win for that. So congratulations to them. Just all in all, a great day. for actually the first preseason ACL Canada event. Great. I know we had a lot of people asking about ACL Canada, but make sure when you are registering for an event, register for ACL Canada. Nothing else you want to do ACL Canada. Remember, when first signing up, there is no membership fee until you go to one of the other ones. There is zero membership fee to just sign up to be part of a tournament. Nothing else. No other fees. Zero to pay to play. So just remember that. So, because I know there is some more coming up. I know that December, the weekend of the 3rd to 5th. So I'm going to say the 4th. I'm going to go with the 4th because I think that's a Saturday. In Peterborough. I know Adam has already put it out. They are having their annual Ugly Sweater for Charity contest, cornhole tournament down in Peterborough, and that will be an ACL regional points event, I want to say. I think so. Yeah, so that's some other news. Cornhole Newfoundland back going. They got their season going. And other big news. KW Cornhole switching nights. If you are in the area and you're watching, we used to go Monday nights, but unfortunately that venue no longer able to get there. So we're going to be going season 18. Wow, season 18 after a year and a half off. Season 18 is back. Wednesday nights, 7:30 at the Kingpin Lounge, the Boston Pizza and the Kingpin Lounge. Wow. More long names. I think it's perfect for an ACL event. So that is at Binghamton Park. If you're familiar with the Kitchener area, it's in the Boston Pizza, bowling alley / So when you go in the front door, give you directions in the front door, go up the stairs to the right, and you will see it there. I know that Matt will have a whole bunch of signs and stuff there for KW Cornhole, but that's where League Night will be. Season 18, remember, you do not have to be there every week to come out and play. You don't have to sign up for the full season. It is a drop-in league. Come when you want to, but there is a $20 buy-in for a season to be part of the season championship if you wish. So that's for that there. New stuff we're doing, and it's just going to be great. New venue. New things come. So new night, remember, Wednesday, no longer Monday nights. Wednesday nights, Kingpin Lounge. Wow. At the Binghamton Park at the Boston Pizza. Come and check us out. Have some fun. And yeah, so with that gets to the can't do any of this here. And also, can talk with the sponsors here. Thank Cornhole Supplies Canada for sponsoring the event this past weekend in St. Clements, the Cornhole Cup. Check them out here. You'll see it come run across the ticker here as the bottom right there. But remember, if you're over here, there's a thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up. There's a subscribe button right over here, I think. If you're looking at it, it should be right over here. Hit that red subscribe button. Subscribe to the show. We are at currently 277, I believe. We get to 300. We're going to give something away. So you can see there. So yeah, so octanecornhole.com. Discount code CornDoug gets you 10% off of anything you need from Octane. You then head over to myearfund.com. Discount code CornDoug there gets you 20% off any earbuds, Bluetooth speakers. Even though it's coming winter, you can still use a waterproof Bluetooth speaker. As always. Then there, I just see in the bottom right there, he's going across there now. Right there, jccornhole.com. Talk to Jamie. Any of your board needs. You may be able to get some Octane beaver bags, his own JC Cornhole beaver bags. And then if you're out west, Alberta, Edmonton to be exact, how about Sherwood Park, Alberta? Check out Darren over at Sierra Home Inspections. Darren does a fantastic job. He will not steer you wrong on the new home that you are going into. Get him to check everything out. He's a great guy, does great stuff. I know he's been getting some great reviews out there, so check him out if you need any home inspection needs. And then I just see going across words over there. CSCcornhole.com. All of your bag needs, but it's enough of me talking. Let's get to some news. let's break some news. Here is my talk with Mr. Local Bags, Mr. Chris Meeks. And as promised, we've got Chris Meek, Mr. Local Bags here himself. Chris, how you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. As we kind of talked up here, I wore the Trailer Park Boys shirt because I know that you are a fan. I ditched the cornhole jersey for a week just to show you some respect.
Bubbles is the smartest guy in the trailer park. He's my hero.
Actually, I've actually got a friend. I know he doesn't watch the show, so I can say it. He actually looks a lot like Bubbles. He had the LASIK surgery. He doesn't have the glasses anymore, but
Great.
He still kind of looks like him. But yeah, it's we need them playing cornhole. Is what we need to do. Is have them an episode of them playing cornhole. I think it'd be perfect.
They definitely seem like cornhole kind of people.
Exactly, yeah, because they got the drinking down, and they just that's it.
Most definitely.
So we're taping this here a little bit before Friday, but we've got some big news for you regarding Canada.
Yeah, we are going north of the border, eh?
Exactly, yeah. So you'll be able to purchase Local Bags on the Cornhole Supplies Canada website.
Very excited about it. I'm excited to work with Matt. We've actually had a lot of interest here lately. I really think the game's growing up there. Really excited to share our products, and really excited to see what's happening with the game at cornhole in Canada.
Well, exactly, because I have seen a lot of guys throwing Local Bags, because I'm gonna say there's a lot of Adam Hisner and Cody Henderson fans up here. I know I'm one of them, because I like that little bit of chirping sometimes when I play, and I think those guys do it perfectly.
Oh, they definitely chirp. They're either loved or hated. I think sometimes they're frustrated because people kind of take them a little bit wrong, but they don't mean anything bad by it. That's been their game forever. I've known them forever, and they played like that forever. And I mean, that's just kind of how we play around here. So I don't take any offense to it.
Oh, no, and I think the first time I got to watch Cody play live may have been one of your first times at the Cobbs, I think, down in Cherokee in 2018. Was a crew cup match late in the night, so the performance enhancing beverages were really flowing. But yeah, it was I think, if I remember correctly, it was him and Ryan Windsor with Camba and Baldwin playing Dotson, Short, and Graham, and just forgot his name now, Trevor Brooks. So
right.
There was a lot of talk in that game.
Oh, I actually missed Trevor Brooks being in the mix. He was a very good rival for those guys.
Exactly, yeah, because it's just, and well, if you see most of any of the video clips from back then, it was those guys playing in any doubles matches, because it was just, everyone was pumped up. It was great atmosphere.
It definitely was. Love it or hate it, I really think it's good entertainment. The John McEnroe kind of tennis.
Exactly, yeah, because I kind of go back to, I had the guys on from UK cornhole, and they kind of wanted cornhole over there to become like darts, which you get that whole party atmosphere, which is, I think, because there's too many times where you get an end of a tournament, and it's just the guys playing left. Everyone else is gone because they're out. We just got to find a way to get everyone to stick around at the tournament and just have fun.
I definitely agree with that. That dart stuff's really exciting. I really hope they follow that model. They changed things up at Cobb's this year down in Rock Hill, and instead of everybody being quiet, which I think the audience really didn't really know what to do, to stay quiet, not to talk, to cheer. That Duncan Clemmer game, everybody kind of got off the chain there. I think that's the best thing for the sport is to have a crowd and to have them fired up. I mean, let's get crazy.
Well, exactly, and to talk about having a crowd and getting crazy, you've got a big event coming up here in a few weeks.
We do. We have Local Livin, the third not so annual Local Livin. We obviously didn't have it last year because of COVID, but we got it fired up here, man. We're gonna have a good time.
So, for anyone who doesn't know about it, what all goes on?
It's basically what I consider the roots of cornhole: good people, food, beer, hanging out, camping. I mean, it's kind of like Woodstock meets the game of cornhole. I'm fortunate. I live on about 300 acres down there in Southeast Ohio, so we can pretty much do what we want. The last two local livings, the blind draws started Friday at about 4, and they went continuously until Sunday. I didn't make it all the way through. I can tell you that. I had a few nappy poos here and there, but they just kept playing, and that's what it's all about. You can play as much or as little as you want. It's really about the people and the camaraderie and old friends and meeting new ones.
Exactly. I'm hoping to get down there next year, and hopefully my wife isn't watching this year because I want to wrap my camper in like down and back stuff and just have like the big billboard flying down the highway down crossing the border and just to have some fun on a weekend.
Oh, that's really what it's all about. We have a couple of quote unquote real tournaments. We have a tournament that you can only use the corn bags we provide. We got $1,000 purse there. There's going to be who knows how many blind draws. I mean, it's just as much about getting together as it is competition. That's really what this game, the core of the game's about. I mean, we all, of course, I'm familiar with the pro market and the ESPN, which is outstanding, but the roots of the game are the people, and this event is exactly what it's about.
Well, and I keep going back to my let's say indoctrination into the game of cornhole was down in the south in North Carolina, on the infield of Charlotte Motor Speedway with moonshine and cornhole the same night, and that lifestyle hasn't stopped since.
That's they know how to do it, man. They really know how to do it. It's a tailgating sport, and 99% of the population treats it as such. And this is just a little celebration of that. Just having a good time.
Exactly, and I'm kind of glad now with the ACL coming up to Canada here now, letting us not only be a conference, but we're now our standalone ourselves up here. So I think that's just really going to grow the game up here so much more.
Oh, it definitely is. I've been around the sport since 2005, 2006, and it was really, really, just the tri-state area, and then it became regional. And we were always amazed when somebody would come from a couple hours away, and then it was a couple states away, and now it's kind of trickling across the world. It's really awesome. It's just such an inclusive game, and I don't know, man. It just brings the best people together from all walks of life. That's really why I enjoy it.
Well, exactly, and that's the best thing about it is the people that everyone and that's what some of the new people that we have coming up here play is that when they see it after a game, like, or no matter even during the game, your opponent makes a good shot, you're going to tell them, hey, that was a good shot. It's not like the other sports where it's always you're always against each other. If the other guy makes a good shot, you let him know, and then you're still you're giving the fist bump or whatever after the game, and then you're going for beer. It's the perfect way just to have fun.
No, it really is, and it's really important for the people that know the game and play it to be good ambassadors of the game and welcome new people in, because that's really the how we're going to get to where we need to be and really grow the sport. We're in a pretty unique area. We're in a very rural part of Ohio, but we have quite a few decent throwers, and of course Cody and Adam play down here, and we have people come down to my we call it the barn. We do blind draws every weekend, and we have new people coming. They're like, oh my gosh, that's the guy on on TV, or those are the guys, and they start off intimidated, and an hour in, everybody's best friends. It's really such a unique sport, because you're not going to go hang out with Joe Montana, or play football with Joe Montana. This is a very unique situation where you can say you played against the Cody Henderson or an Adam Hissner or a Jamie Graham, and you met him and you had a beer with him. I mean, how great is that?
Exactly, yeah. And you talk about that being with those guys on TV. Your boys kind of beat up on our guys there, but we have the same thing here. When people come out to our league nights or whatever, and they see Jamie Cowan, they see a Scott Sullivan who did play against Cody and Adam on TV, they're like, oh, we're not going to be able to beat them. But and the other thing is that those top players are always helpful with any new players. They won't hesitate to give them Any kind of tips on anything to help them out? I think that's the best thing for me about cornhole players.
I agree with that. But there were at one time a lot of those guys were new players. I mean, I remember back when we started playing seriously. Cody was just a little kid. He actually came to some tournaments that I ran real early on back in the corn bag and plywood board days. And he was talking about how good we were and how he came and remembered me and my buddy that played with me. And everybody starts somewhere, and I think we all need to remember that, and we all need to help new players learn the game and love the game, because that's really what the game's about.
Oh yeah, is having fun, and like I said, we've got so many new players up here that are having fun, and I give a shout out to Pam Clark. I talked about her early in the show. She I think she's about 28 weeks pregnant, carried my butt in the tournament. She just started playing 4 weeks ago, and we picked up second in in an intermediate division tournament. But she's just, it's those new players to the game that just make it fun.
I agree with that.
And the other thing is, you talked about your barn that you have. If anyone watching that hasn't seen any kind of video or anything from there, I would say to look you up on Facebook and see some of that, because that looks like it's a blast when you guys are in there.
Oh, we have a good time. It started out as a barn for a farm, and my grandfather was in the milk truck business, so it was full of trucks and hay and cows. And then my dad took it over, and he's into the, what do you call it, there's a name for a gas pump collector. Anyways, this guy buys and sells gas pumps and oil signs and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a good atmosphere.
Exactly. So the other thing here, I'm kind of thinking, like, since you have been around the game for so long, since you said 2005, as a bag maker, what kind of, are you surprised at how much the technology has grown in the bags and how much kind of R&D you have to do into new bags coming out?
To a certain extent, I am. I grew up around water skiing. My dad was a multinational champion, world champion. So I saw the evolution of skis go from wood skis to fiberglass to composite, to all that. So, I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming this fast. And I definitely didn't see the secondary bag market exploding like it did. It's real similar to the shoe game. I don't collect shoes, but I read a lot about Nike and some other shoe companies, and I really think it's a rocket ship right now, man. It's a rocket ship. I've had a really unique opportunity that was provided by the ACL, and took it and ran with it. It's absolutely crazy how the bags have changed just in 5 years,
mm-hmm.
And 2 years, really. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, exactly.
And who knows what we're going to see next? I mean, I don't doubt anything now.
Well, exactly, because you see some guys that are making, like, there's, they've got like the concrete boards. They got I actually seen one guy who made like out of like sheet metal, some boards to have just outside, and it's like just crazy what people are doing, even with the board technology.
Oh, the boards have improved just as much as the bags. When we first started playing, they were, the first boards I made were obviously terrible. Nobody should ever buy a board that I even made to this day, which I can't make boards, but like 2x4 plywood, and you roll on some enamel. That's what we played with for 4 or 5 years with corn bags, and you needed the corn bag dust to make them slide because the boards were so rough. And now these things are like fine furniture.
Well, exactly, yeah. Yeah, I see that all the time with JC Cornhole, with Jamie up there. It's like it's crazy, and then you see with him making the boards there, that dust from those boards can actually make the other boards slicker as they're trying to play next to him as he's making boards. But it's just like, even for me, like being around in the game since about 2017, just that growth from there, is just crazy, because we only had like 4 or 5 bag makers that were at the ACL event back in 2018 to see now. It's like they're just popping up all over the place.
Oh, they are. I mean, the opportunity's there. I mean, if you have the will to work, and it's an opportunity. It really is. Now, how long it's going to last, nobody knows. You've if you get in the game, you better be ready to make some bags. That's all I got to say, or you're going to fall behind, and it's going to be a lot of heartburn.
Yeah, I've seen Matt up at the shop, and it's just there's been a couple nights where it's been like 3 or 4 in the morning, just filling bags, and it's just been crazy.
Yeah, I'm very, very thankful and very fortunate. You know, I was there I'm there pretty much 10 to 12 hours a day, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm like, I get to do something that I enjoy. So I'm not complaining, but you definitely got to put your time in.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people just see. They think, oh, it's just the bags are just going to go, but there's so much time invested into that.
That, you know, there really is. My mom recently retired after 30 plus years of teaching, and she's working part-time, you know, like a little retirement job for her. And she comes up and does the packing, and you know, she's kind of followed me through the whole thing. You know, a lot of people thought I was crazy when I said I was going to make cornhole bags for a living. And, you know, there were some nights when I thought maybe I was crazy too. Because back in the beginning, when we first started, it wasn't like this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But she came, and, you know, when she's packing, you know, 100, 200 packages a day, and she's like, wow, you really do a lot of bags. And I just laugh at her. And she's like, is it going to be like this tomorrow? And I'm like, yes, it might be worse.
Well, exactly, and even the whole custom game with it now, like, you know, you've got to have, you know, you've got to be ready for those people with the custom orders coming in.
Yeah, you know, that's really a market that has tightened up. You know, we concentrate on that a lot in the beginning, but now it's so hard to do because, you know, just keeping up on the stock bags is an issue. I know there's some companies out there that do it. We don't do as much as we'd like to, but, you know, we just really can't right now, and that's definitely a an open market.
For sure, yeah. So let
And
me go back.
there's some really cool stuff. Those limited edition stuff, these guys are doing. That's art on the bags, man. I appreciate it. I really respect it. Like, it's an amazing feeling to be able to make something and somebody buy it that you don't know. That was probably the most amazing experience I've ever had in any business I've been in. Is, you know, you sit there and you're beating your head against a sewing machine. And I still remember my first order. I remember the guy's name. And I was like, somebody just bought one, you know, and then it was
Mhm.
just an avalanche from there, but it was quite the experience.
Well, yeah, and you know, to talk about your, you know, custom bags or whatever, your pros that you have, like, you know, we talked about Cody and Adam, but your some of the other guys that you have throwing local bags are, I local bags to me is you've got the pros that like to have fun. The
Oh, that's,
guys that
oh, you know, I got J Dot and Shorty. Those guys aren't far down the road from us. You know, all those guys have been playing, you know, playing forever. You know, when I look for somebody to sponsor, you know, I really want them to reflect the brand. And Cody and Adam and J Dot and Sean Short, they're just good dudes. We used to run around playing at the county fairs together. You know, I mean, we have history, and that really means a lot to me. I've been very, very fortunate to have hooked up with those guys. I was lucky. I made the right bet at the right time.
well, and that's the thing is that there's, you know, in seeing in some of the groups and stuff online that some people try to kind of bring like the whole loyalty into it now with the way everything is really blown up. But it's like I look at the local bag players, they're the ones that are in it for the love of the game and having fun, just with especially with those four guys, because that's for me that's what's going to sell a bag more than someone and not saying Trey Birchfield, but I'm saying those robot type players that are just there for I'm here for one reason, but those guys that like to have fun are going to show off the brand.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of how I want them, you know, to be ambassadors of brand, and they've really done. I'll tell you, you know, right place, right time. You know, of course, a lot of hard work involved, but really, you know, having the opportunity and seizing it and it working out. It was real fortunate. You know, the first national down in Florida, Cody and Adam won, and probably one of the most controversial, talked about finals, doubles finals, maybe in the ACL history. And, you know, and they came back, and I talked to Cody, and he was like, man, that was wild. I don't know if it was good or bad or ugly. And then we just kept seeing it popping up on social media. And I mean, people to this day probably still talk a little bit about it. I mean, that was really, for as crazy as it was really good for the brand. And that's what I told him. I'm like, that was a once in a lifetime thing right there.
Well, exactly. And talking TV, you've got you're going to be showcased big time this weekend with Adam.
Yeah, Adam, man, he's come on. He like he does every year, end of the season. The dude's tough as nails, man. He really picked his game up there at the end of the year, and I truly believe Adam is one of the best in the world. I've seen him when he's on. I nobody can beat him, and I tell Cody that to his face. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Adam has all the shots, and when his confidence is there and the bag's coming out of his hand right, man, I don't see anybody beating him.
I see Adam as the more you see him smiling, having fun, and laughing,
Yep.
the more that your ass is in a lot of trouble.
You are, and a lot of times when he gets down there and he's already thrown the first bag while they're still picking him up, that's when I know it's over because he's so confident and ready to go. And when he starts talking, a lot of people take that as disrespect when they're talking, but they're talking to each other, and they may say something to the other guy, like to Adam may say something to Cody that may sound disrespectful or mean, but they're really just firing each other up. I mean, that they have played so long. I really can't other than Matt and Brett, which, they don't team up anymore. I can't think of another team that's played so long and had so much success.
Well, and that's what I talk about here. And I kind of get it with a lot of people is that I feel that if a team has been together longer and you there's that feel that you have with your partner. You can get all these your super teams, but in the end of the day, I think it's those guys who have been together longer. And for me, I just think you have that feel of knowing what the other guy's going to do, and he's got that same feeling, the confidence. You can say it's confidence of your ability. I just think that makes teams play better, and it's just better.
I agree. They know each other's shots. They know their capabilities. They know. I hear him say often, like one will tell the other, like, dude, I'm not feeling it today. We're gonna have to do something here. And they can say things to each other because they're like brothers, and they may have a couple of spats here and there, but in the end, they love each other. I mean, as that they'll never say it, but they're the best. They're the best buddies. They're like brothers from other mothers. I mean, and with that, and just the respect they have for each other and knowing each other, it's definitely something that you have to take into account when you play them.
Exactly. Now, when I asked Adam this question when he was on the show, he kind of gave a laugh, didn't answer it. What's in the cup?
Well, I'm allowed to say.
Because that's when new people when new people kind of see him on, like they see him on videos, and they're like, what's he drinking? We're like, nobody knows. It's just it's the magic potion that he has.
It is. There's actually a really cool. It might have been Green Bay. I don't remember. There was a national where they were playing in the quarterfinals or the finals, and he was out, and he turned around with his cup, and I was right behind him, behind the little barrier, and he dropped his cup below the barrier, and I filled him back up with the aiming fluid.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the other things that makes it fun is that everyone knows who's that routine, that balancing thing that he has or whatever, but it's just that's the little quirkiness of cornhole that makes it fun.
It is. A lot of people that I see, they talk about his hat and his cup, and they talk about Cody's hair. I really realized it was big when I was in a Walmart about 30 miles from here, and I had a Local Bag shirt on, and I was just, I don't know, it was Christmas time. I was looking for a video game for my boy, and this guy comes up and taps me on the shoulder. He's like, Local Bags. Yeah, that's the guy with the hat and the guy with the hair. He's like, do you throw Local Bags? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I actually make Local Bags. And he had no idea that it was made in Ohio. He thought it was made said he thought it was made in like California or something, and he was just blown away. And then I was just equally blown away. Like, this guy's seeing our stuff and our players on TV, and that was just such a, I don't know. I just made me realize how big it is actually getting, which is amazing.
Oh, and I still talk with that. Like I went, like, even just for myself when just doing this show, it's like you don't really realize just kind of how the reach that you might have. Because I still say I'm only got about 2 or 3 viewers that actually watch it. And it's just me clicking on the videos the rest of the time. But when people come up and talk to you, and you're like, they know you, and it's just because they've seen you doing stuff, and it's like, holy crap, maybe it is. There is something to this whole cornhole thing.
Oh, there is, and there's, I'm one of the guys that I listen to all the podcasts, and there's a lot of people like me. So a lot of people know who you are. I mean, I knew who you were. I mean, people are looking for content, and people not only are looking for content, but they're looking for good content. And there are a couple of really good podcasts out there. And the great part about all of them is they're all a little bit different, which is great. If everybody was, pulling something out of the same can, it would be boring, but each of them are unique in their own way.
And that's I joke about with the Ass Brothers and the Doghouse guys, is because it's the Doghouse is like, everybody hates them. That's theirs. The Asps are just about what they're drinking, and me, it's just about how bad I can play. It's because it's just I talk because I can't play.
Well, you guys all have good guests on, and you ask good questions, and people really want to know. Like, I'm interested. I know a lot of people in the game, but I like to hear, different people's stories, and where they're from and when they started playing, and it's really unique to everybody, and it makes somebody, relatable when you see them on TV. I really think the social media aspect and the podcast thing is just as big as ESPN. When we first started playing, there were like these little cornhole forums in the mid 2000s, and we would hear about. Of course, we all knew who Matt was, because Matt's a few hours from here, and we would run into him at tournaments. So we would hear about people from other regions just in cornhole forums. They'd say, "Oh, like Dave Sutton and Ryan Windsor." We'd hear about, those were like guys from faraway lands back then,
Mm-hmm.
But now it's such a close community, but it's in the U.S., Canada. I mean, it's going international, and it's really cool that it can get so big and still remain. It can still have the same feeling that it does in the beginning, and that's really what I love about the game.
Well, exactly. I'm coming up on 2 years here. I'm doing this here, and which still shocks the hell out of me. But I started this here because you just seen those players on ESPN, or just the clips that we would get the clips of playing on ESPN. You didn't really get to know the players. I think that's what all the podcasts here have kind of started to do, is kind of a more human kind of aspect of these players. They're not just someone that we see. Like, they're not like the other top sports of baseball, football, basketball, hockey, or whatever. Is you get to actually see the person.
Yeah, you do, and in a lot of cases you get to talk to the person. I had a conversation, I think it was with Cody down in Rock Hill, and he was upset that he lost. It was against Cheyenne, and that was an outstanding game. And I said, really, that's probably a really good thing that happened for the game. I mean, that everybody's going to remember that you were involved in the game. I mean, I really think that right now we're seeing that the Ty Cobbs and the Babe Ruths of the sport, and it's only going to grow from here. And the fact that we get to see this happen and get to see it hatch and grow, and get out of the nest and know the people. So, like, 30 years from now, you can say, well, I knew Cody Henderson, or I've talked to Matt Guy, and they'll be like, what? It'd be like talking to Babe Ruth, that maybe sounds a little far-fetched, but I think as fast as we're growing, I really see it like that. I really do. There's no other sport with such a low barrier to entry, that it doesn't matter how fast or how tall or how strong or what sex you are or where you're from. I mean, you can come up with $800 to get a good set of boards and a few sets of bags, have the best of everything, and have the best equipment. You don't have to go to a bowling alley. You know, you don't have to go to a gym. You
Mhm.
can just break it out in your backyard.
Oh, exactly. You know, and talking about getting the personal, because I've told this your story like 800 times on the show now, and everyone knows it. But that personable aspect of the players is, I go back to 2018. I was on a balcony in Cherokee at the hotel there, and out walks Timothy Pitcher, and I had like a 45-minute conversation with him, playing one of the top guys in the game. You know, who sadly won't be a pro this year, but
He is an awesome guy. I'm going to miss. He is an outstanding dude.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And it's just, you know, it's guys, it's ambassadors like that have made the game what it is.
I agree with that 100%.
Okay, so yeah, so I want to thank you here for coming on, and for everyone. Make sure to be in Canada at least, because Matt just does. We're just Canada here. Check out it's actually across the bottom of the screen right now. CSCcornhole.com. You'll be able to find local bags there that you'll be able to purchase on the Canadian side, and not have to worry about all the extra fees for crossing the border, and be able to get your hands on some local bags.
Really looking forward to it and appreciate the opportunity.
Actually, and I hope to see you once we're able to cross the border. I've got some tournaments kind of lined up where I want to go to once we can cross, and I'll be able to maybe talk in person, and maybe I'll let you beat me 21-0 in the game.
I don't play much anymore. I don't throw them too much anymore.
Some people say that about me. So yeah. So thanks again for this here, and we'll be talking soon.
I appreciate it.
And there you have it. I want to thank Chris for coming on the show. Guy I've wanted to have on for a long time. Just great talking cornhole. And how about that news? Local bags can now be found at csccornhole.com. Coming up right. Look at that. It's right nowhere. There. csccornhole.com. Get your local bags. Check them out. Hopefully be on there soon. I know the just kind of finalized everything here this week. But you'll be able to get local bags in Canada without paying any of the extra shipping costs. So there's that. Said everything off the top of the show. Some great stuff this past weekend. St. Clements at the Cornhole Cup. Great playing, great people. A lot of new faces, which is absolutely awesome to see. We know about KW Cornhole moving to Wednesday nights, from Mondays to now Wednesday nights. Kingpin Lounge, Boston Pizza, Binghamton Park. Upstairs to the right, you'll see it. And yeah. Or do we really need a long close on this show? Because it's really nothing. Just remember, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the show. Good, bad, otherwise. It's all good. Audio versions. Hey, how you guys doing? I know you can't see me, just wave, but I just wave to you. I can't even talk. But yeah, so in 2 weeks, another big show. 2 years. Doing this 2 years. Who knew? I know a lot of people still learning about the show here. But yeah. Thank Evan for, we passed, well, I guess I didn't touch on it really much. We've hit the 15,000 views. Like, that's crazy to me. We took so long to get to 10,000, all of a sudden it's like, boom, we're at 15,000. But I want to thank Evan for that, because it's just, I'm just here having fun. That's all I'm doing. Just having fun, talking cornhole, and helping people get better, get myself better. But yeah, till next time, watch out for those players throwing gas, because they might, yes, that's right, kick your ass.